Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If it's the first time you are watching me, please help me grow my YouTube family and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so today I am filming this video in unique and difficult times for most of us with this COVID-19 outbreak all over the world and its impact on all of our lives. So most of you, my subscribers, are from Metro Manila and you are currently on a lockdown. Most of you will be working from home and homeschooling your children at the same time. Now, this scenario of working from home and homeschooling my kid is not unique to me. I've been doing it now for more than 2 years. So in this video, I wanted to share with you guys my specific experience and how I've been handling working from home and homeschooling my son at the same time, in the hopes that my sharing is going to maybe give you some ideas or helpful suggestions. So let's get into it. Okay, so I think I need to give you a bit of context first. In the Philippines and in the US, homeschooling is getting quite popular. See a lot of celebrities doing it, even local Filipino celebrities homeschooling their children. It's getting very popular. Here in Singapore, it's catching on, but it's mostly like the expat community that's doing it. In Europe, it's almost like unheard of. Whenever I talk to a European and say that I'm homeschooling my son, they're always like super shocked, and I have to explain that it's legit. You know, it is accredited by governments. There's an actual legit program that you follow. Your kid learns everything that a student that goes to school learns as well. But I must admit that like most parents that opt for homeschooling have at least one parent at home, usually the mom, that's fully dedicated to homeschooling the kid, which for me is not the case because I have a full-time job as well. Even if I do work from home, I need to work and my job is quite demanding and I travel a lot. So homeschooling wasn't really the first option for me. When you're a foreigner here in Singapore, it's almost impossible to get your children into a local school. So you'd have to enroll them in an international school, which I haven't been able to afford because it's just like crazy expensive. But I am saving up for it, and Dallas, my son, is going to go to an international school next year. But in the meantime, I have been homeschooling him for more than 2 years with a DepEd accredited program under Homeschool Global. And I can leave more information for you in the description box if you're interested. So here's how I manage to homeschool my son while I work. And like I said, I do hope that my sharing will give you guys who are experiencing this, albeit temporarily, right now. So first, I want to explain to you guys that because I am working, I cannot have my son on a fixed homeschool schedule. Like, it's not entirely too structured. If I wasn't working, I would have it structured. I simply can't do it like full-time homeschooling mommies do it, wherein it's really like a classroom setup. They have a schedule every day that they stick to and they don't veer away from. Like, for example, math is every day from like 9 to 10, English is at 9 to 9:30. Okay, I can't do it this way because my work is unpredictable. Like, I don't know when I'm gonna have a call. I don't know when I'm gonna have to call a sudden meeting. I don't know when I'm gonna have urgent work to attend to. I also don't really know like when it's gonna be fairly light, my workload. So my son's schooling schedule is flexible. So at the beginning of each quarter, I'm gonna look at my son's books. I'm going to see like what chapters he has to finish, what topics he has to cover for the quarter. And we just make sure that we do everything before the quarter ends and he is ready for his online exams at the end of the quarter. So on a daily basis, this is how it normally goes. My son and I, we don't really wake up too early. We wake up around 8:30. Then I start working on my laptop at 9:15, 9:20, while I let him like have his breakfast and relax first. I need this alone time in the morning to answer all of my emails and to get everything urgent out of the way. A lot of the people that I talk to for work are from France, so there's a time difference. By the time I wake up in the morning, there's a whole lot of new emails for me to attend to. Then my son joins me at our work desk at around 10:15 to 10:30. So we sit side by side and I more or less guide him while I'm also doing my own work. My son is 9 years old, almost 10, but we've been doing this since he was 7. Usually we'll do the difficult subjects first, like math, English. What I will do is I will look at his books and give him like pages to complete. For example, okay, Dallas, for today in math, you're gonna do page 10 to page 15. If you have a question, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna check once you've completed those 5 pages. So while he's doing pages 10 to 15, I'm busy on my laptop working. Sometimes if he has a question, then I'll have to stop what I'm doing and attend to his question. And then after he's completed the pages, I will go and check and correct him where he needs to be corrected. Now for some subjects, he requires all of my attention and I can't multitask like that. For example, science. Because science needs to be explained, I read the chapter to him, I attend to all of his questions. It's more interactive between the both of us. Also social sciences or araling panlipunan. Because the textbook is in Filipino, so I have to translate since he doesn't really understand Filipino that well. And there are a lot of concepts there that need like deeper understanding, so I explain a lot more. And also the actual subject Filipino, because he can't really speak Filipino, so again, there's a lot more explanation. So that requires my full attention. So for these subjects, we'll usually tackle them in the afternoon after lunch when I've usually like dealt already with all of the stressful stuff at work. When I'm very, very busy, we will skip these subjects, science, social sciences, and Filipino. I will give him more stuff that he can do completely independently. For example, penmanship. I will give him penmanship exercises. Reading. He has reading workbooks. Spelling. He also has a spelling workbook that he can work on independently and I just check afterwards. And sometimes I'll give him like hard assignments so that it frees up my time and I can concentrate on work and he's busy as well, and then I can just check afterwards. For example, write an essay about a certain topic or do research using the internet on a certain topic, write a research report about it. A major disadvantage of doing like multitasking while homeschooling my son is that it takes us more hours of the day. So we will start at around 10:15. He will have a lunch break of strictly just 1 hour at 1 p.m. We resume again at 2 and then maybe we end like at about 4:30. But then again, my son is very playful and he really knows how to procrastinate. So that may be the reason why we end so late. So we prioritize all of the important subjects first, like math, English, science, social sciences, Filipino. Everything else we do once we have finished all of the lessons for the quarter of these 5 subjects. Like spelling, penmanship, reading, I only ask him to do those when I'm really busy and can't attend to him. Or we wait until he finishes all the topics of the 5 major subjects for the quarter and then he does those minor subjects. Or when I'm traveling, he does those minor subjects. For even more minor subjects like music and PE, in the homeschooling program that we enrolled in, the parent is free to choose whatever topic in music or PE they want to teach their children. So for PE, Dallas has been going to swimming lessons and basketball lessons. Now that has stopped since the COVID-19 outbreak. So he stopped going to these lessons temporarily, but we do have the privilege of having a swimming pool downstairs. So at least once a week, I'll make him go down and practice his strokes. For music, I didn't really know what to teach him aside from singing. So I've taught him to sing like classic pop songs from the Beatles, from Queen even. And the culmination of his little music or singing lessons will be to sing or to perform in front of the family. I also made him do like a research report about the Beatles. So it's more like, you know, knowledge about the music industry as well. People have asked me like, so how does your son socialize if he's homeschooled? Well, my son is very sociable. Maybe if he was a very, very shy kid, then I would have hesitated to homeschool him, but he is very, very outgoing. And he does have a social life. At least before this COVID-19 outbreak, he was out every afternoon downstairs at the park. He has a gang. He has friends that he regularly hangs out with. They run around downstairs, they swim, they play in the playground, they play all sorts of kids games. He also attends Sunday school every Sunday. While I'm at church, he goes to Sunday school, so he has friends at Sunday school as well. And here in Singapore, there is a homeschooling community. So it's a group of Singaporeans, Filipinos, and expats, kids of expats that come together every now and then to go on a learning trip or an expedition or a field trip to different like museums around Singapore, or just come together to do like group activities. Of course, all that has come to a halt during this very challenging time of this COVID-19 outbreak. And I've even stopped my son from playing outside with his friends. But of course, you know, my son, he has lots of energy and he still wants to play. I'm sure your children are the same. And I don't want him to be stuck behind his iPad or watching the TV instead of playing with his friends. So I play with him instead. I'm not very good though at playing with toys or what have you. Honestly, I just don't have the patience for that kind of thing. So what I introduced to him is board games. I mean, at least like the both of us enjoy, and I'm not like dragging my feet and like half-heartedly playing with him the way he wants to play. Fortunately for me, he's enjoyed the board games that I introduced to him. I even taught him how to play tic-tac-toe, hangman. So at least like everybody's still kind of entertained. So if you guys have got board games lying around there, it's time to take those board games out and play with your kids. If you haven't got any board games, maybe you've got a deck of cards. You can teach them how to play your favorite games when you were a kid. There are a lot of games out there. I mean, you can just do your research online, but there's a lot of way that you can keep your kids entertained while you yourself are also having fun. So like for me, given all of the circumstances, homeschooling has worked out well for us. So while our homeschooling is not really as structured as like what you see like celebrity moms doing, some of them even have like personal tutors, their own classrooms and everything. While we're not as structured, I would say that I am really quite strict with my son, and he's really learning quite well. And then once he goes back to regular school, then he's going to be able to cope really easily. I focus a lot on the subjects where he is weaker. I don't know if it's because like he's a guy, he's very lazy to write. Like when I ask him to write an essay, it's like very like straight to the point, and sometimes I get frustrated and like I tell him, you know, you need to elaborate. This is not an essay, like this is a few sentences. And even like the way he writes sentences, it's more of a fragment, it's not a complete sentence. So I really focus more on like where he's weak. He's very, very good at math. I'm terrible at math. So I'm so lucky that he's good at math. So I don't really focus too much on that. I just let him do his work, and then I'll just check for mistakes afterwards. And anyway, there's very few mistakes normally. He loves learning about science. That's why I really give him all of my attention when we're talking about science. He just basically, he likes learning new things as well. He's a very curious little dude. So it helps you, the parent, if you also get him interested in what he's learning. So sometimes when we're studying a certain subject, I'll make him go on the internet or watch YouTube videos on the particular subject. So it's like supplementary learning that's totally free. Like last year, we were learning about photosynthesis, how plants get their food from sunlight and water. I allowed him to watch YouTube videos on it because it enriches his knowledge on it and it gets him more interested in the subject. Last but not the least, during the evenings, I implement a 1-hour reading time. I buy him books to read, and he has to read them at night. After he reads a chapter or two, he'll tell me what happened. This is a bit of a struggle because he doesn't like to read, but I insist. So yeah, you can't like let them get away with everything that they want as well. Sometimes you just really have to be a bit forceful and insist, because anyway, you're the one that knows better. So homeschooling, even for full-time homeschooling moms, it's not a walk in the park. It really tests your patience. It tests your humanity. You know, it's really easy to get frustrated at your child and let your frustration out at your child when he doesn't answer, when he doesn't give you the answer that you want, when he doesn't seem to understand something that seems so easy to you. Let me tell you, I am not perfect. I have yelled at my son several times, and until today, I'm really struggling to contain my patience. But you know what you gotta do, you just do the best that you possibly can. If it's hard for moms that homeschool their kids full-time, what more for moms like us who also work? Yeah, so if you have any questions, let me know. You can make a comment here or you can send me a personal message. But I do hope this was a little bit of a help to you. And before I go, again, I just want to say that I hope really everyone is safe wherever you are and healthy. I hope your family members are as well. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for this situation all over the world every single day, and hopefully this terrible situation is going to end very, very soon. So wishing you love, light, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.